Is it worth spending the amount of time trying to get your reload down to a second and a half when a
Yeah,
3 second
or could
reload
you,
is just fine? Doesn't matter.
or could you have spent that time maybe doing some PT? I don't know.
That too.
I mean, there's a lot of really large three gunners. So,
There's a lot of I don't know. That's always made me shake my head whenever I attend a class and there's a guy in there who weighs 350 pounds. It's like, dude.
why are you here?
Yeah,
Right.
like it's great that you're here seeking training, awesome, but I think you need to go hire a
Yeah,
coach.
you're not going to get to the gunfight. You're not going to make
Yeah,
it to it. You're
that
going to be wheezing out.
that dude is just going to take a brisk walk away from you, and you're doomed.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
gonna have a heart attack. um,
yeah. There's some meme I used to really like. It said if you spend all your time doing this and it had a guy shooting, and no time doing this and it had a guy lifting weights, or this and it had a guy boxing, then you're missing the point.
mm,
You know, it really is. If you want to commit your life to a martial lifestyle, for lack of a better term, it's not just your weapons training. You know, it's got to be your fitness, and then your what we call DT, or your combatives, your ability to throw a punch.
yeah,
You know, and my background's all Muay Thai and boxing before I was a cop. I still hit the heavy bag all the time.
yeah,
I don't spar anymore because CTE is a real thing
yeah.
and it has a cumulative effect. Okay, I'm punchy enough as it is for my years of doing it, but you got to keep all those skills sharp, because I'm in my job. I'm a hell of a lot more likely to punch somebody than I am shoot them.
Yeah, or grapple them.
20 times more
Yeah,
likely.
yeah, punch
Yeah.
or grapple. That's going to
Right.
be the reality.
Right. Or smash somebody through a wall, or whatever,
Yeah,
drag them to the ground with one arm. So these are all, things you have to train for, and you got to keep it strong. That's why we have, PT tests and SWAT.
yeah,
That's why there's a, obstacle course. That's why there's a fitness standard you have to meet. There's a lot of amazing shooters who are 50 pounds overweight who will never be on a SWAT team.
yep,
And once again, I can't use you.
yeah.
You're an amazing shooter, but
You're
you're
too
not going to
fat
get
to
to the
fit through
fight.
the threshold, buddy.
Correct. Correct. You're just not going to get to the fight. You're going to run around in armor all day and be absolutely fucking exhausted.
Yeah. Um,
So,
it's almost like being strong and being fit is equally as important as being good with your pistol and rifle and all that good
well,
stuff.
I mean, I think it's within reason.
Yeah.
I think there's context there, because, so for example, um, let's say I have an amazing bench press. So what? I mean, right?
Yeah, of course.
So it's the right kind of fitness is what you want. I believe focusing on leg, hips, and core strength is probably a good idea, and of course cardio.
Yeah.
And as far as muscle strength, you want muscle endurance. You need raw strength, but I would kind of favor endurance over raw strength. I need somebody who can still be swinging after 15, 16 hours if they have to,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to somebody who can just give me 10 minutes of good performance and they're done.
Yeah.
So that I do a lot of rucking, not like super ruck, but just to build that core strength, and that it's also great for burning fat.
Yeah.
But I'll throw on just like a 35-pound pack, which isn't that much, and I'll just go do 4 miles.
Yeah.
And do it in under an hour, and
Yeah.
that's one of the many workouts I do. Cardio run, not run for blazing speed, because that's going to go with time. Just it's a cardio sport. Okay, life's a cardio sport. Fighting's a cardio sport. You got to get your cardio in, and there's guys that do a lot of deadlift and squats and shit with heavy weight. I mean, that's great, but in my experience, you do it long enough, as you get older, you're going to get hurt and you're going to be down for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I've switched to kettlebells. I like kettlebell training. It works a lot of core strength, a lot of, as Patty Mac says, the transaxle muscles are twisting.
Mm-hmm.
All that core strength is really what you use.
Yeah. I'm a big fan. I mean, yeah, I think you should be strong. So, obviously, I focus quite a bit heavily on strength training, but endurance is also really important. You just need to have it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really important when it comes to cardio that people find something they actually like doing for cardio, or else it just becomes one of these things that dread doing, and a lot of times they're just going to stop doing it. So, if, like, for example, like I'm a big fan of things like jujitsu and kickboxing, because you
Mhm.
kind of kill two birds with one stone there. Right?
Absolutely.
It's very good cardio. Um, for anyone who hasn't done those things, they're going to find out really quick that that's very cardio intensive. Grappling and boxing is you're going to build your cardio up pretty quick doing that, and at the same time, you're also building up your hand-to-hand combative skills. It's kind of two
Mhm.
birds with one
Absolutely.
stone, which is fantastic. And of course, most people, especially people who have kind of similar mindset of us, they're going to enjoy doing that. And then things like rucking and stuff like that also are fantastic too,
Right.
if you have the time to do that stuff as well. So it's finding stuff like
Yeah.
some people like just dread running. They're like, I don't want to run. It sucks. I don't do it, and trying to force them to run. It's
Back in my 20s, I would just run to the sound of wind.
yeah,
It didn't bother me one bit. But now, we have Audible and podcasts, and it gets a lot more tolerable.
yeah,
If I got a good podcast, that hour and a half, 2 hour ruck goes a lot smoother.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
so
yeah, and stuff like that. Because you don't, running and rucking. Obviously, they're very different, but they're both cardio intensive.
mhm.
So, like for me, jogging just destroys my feet for some reason.
Mhm.
It just does. If I go for a jog, even if it's a fairly short jog, my feet will hurt for days. But rucking
uh,
doesn't
try
bother for. Like, I can
try
run.
Hoka.
Hoka.
Try Hoka running shoes. They're amazing.
Okay, I'll have to give those a
Yeah,
shot.
they look ridiculous because the soles on them are this thick, but they're really lightweight,
Huh.
and they really help as you get older and your feet, your joints don't like that running so much.
Yeah.
I switched to Hokas. I used to be a hardcore Brooks guy, and I switched to Hokas.
Interesting. I'll have to give them a shot.
Yeah,
But like rucking, for example, doesn't bother me one bit.
yeah.
It's still a good workout, obviously, but I'm not limping for days afterwards.
There's a reason the military does it.
Yeah.
Not, I mean, some of it's more pragmatic, because you got to hump gear from point A to point B and take
Yeah.
everything with you. But also when it comes to just raw losing weight and building that core strength and that endurance, I mean, it's hard to beat rucking.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's definitely a good modality, that's for sure. I'd highly recommend it. And it's not terribly abusive, unless you're not doing something ridiculous like humping 150 pounds on your back or something stupid
Right.
like that.
Right.
Which military, they tend to do that. Like, oh, here's
Well,
150
yeah, but
pounds,
when
put
you're
it on your back.
18 to 22, you can do all sorts of stupid shit.
Yeah, they're like, we
Yeah, I
don't
do
care
too.
what you feel like when you're 35. That's not
Right.
what we're here for.
Exactly.
We're here for you for 4 years, and we're going to take every bit of your body that we can in these 4 years.
Well, right, and I was never in the military, but on that note, a good friend of mine who unfortunately was a really amazing police officer, but he unfortunately passed away. He was on a search warrant, and he got a swine flu of all things. He caught that on a search warrant, and he died
Damn.
from it weeks later.
That
His name was
sucks.
Greg Hamill. Amazing cop, great friend. But he went through the academy with him, and years later, I was hanging out with him. I forget what we were talking about, but basically, hey, I was getting older because I was in my 30s then. And he goes, Rob, you can either slow down or God will slow you down. You pick. And I kind of took that to heart. And I'm telling you, so I'm 45 now. I can't train the way I did when I was 35.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't, when I was 35, I couldn't train the way I was when I was 25.
Yeah.
Your body's completely different. The way you burn energy, the way you recover, the way you process food, all that is completely different at these different ages. So if you are not mindful of changing the way you train with your body to maximize, your physical ability for your age, you're going to suffer. You're not going to make it.
Yeah.
And I've seen plenty of SWAT guys in their 40s who are trying to compete with guys in their 20s, and you can't.
Yeah.
It ain't real, and you're going to break. And they'll get on all the. We have a modern medical science is amazing. You can be on all the testosterone and HGH and all that shit in the world, but it doesn't change the fact, you're putting really high octane fuel in a 40-some-year-old car.
Yeah.
It's the age is what it is. The joints are what they are.
Yeah.
So you got to be mindful of that and really focus on recovery.
Yeah. Especially if you want to be in the profession, like for example, what you're in SWAT, for a relatively long time, you know, want to take care
Yeah.
of yourself.
Yeah. I'm in the twilight, but I'm hoping to push out the clock a little longer.
Yeah.
We'll see.